Hello, everyone. I'm Morgana Angeli, one of the founders of Reset Revolution. And Reset Revolution, it's an international corporation or platform that aims to put people together and to talk about issues of social justice around the world together as a community. So today our topic is Southern Italy, everything Hollywood has failed to show you. Nearly the whole world associates Southern Italy with mafia, laziness, and chaos. Though there is little truth behind these stereotypes, there are many people attempting to fight these tropes, and the constant stereotyping is detrimental to their cause. At the international level, the perception of the general public about the Italians is mostly based on stereotypes and cliches. Decades of mafia movies, such as the Coppola's The Grandfather, have contributed to a rather stereotyped image. However, the reality is much more complex than a few mafiosi gathering around a laden table to discuss murder and drugs. Today, I'm joined with Francesca Spina. Francesca lives in Catania, Sicily, and together we will be discussing Italian stereotypes, the truth they reveal, and the realities they conceal. So, Francesca, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Francesca. I'm 17, and I'm born and raised in Sicily. And what can I say about me? I'm a scout, and I'm studying at my high school, at the classical high school of my city. So that's it. That's basically me.
Thank you very much. So let's begin with you laying out for us what the main stereotypes are regarding Italians, and more specifically, Southern Italians, since that's the topic of our.
Yeah. So basically, people in an international context or even in a national one, they see us as people who always make chaos, people who are lazy. We don't want to do nothing, and they see us just as people who don't pay taxes, as criminals, as burglars, and what can I say? Many things that are, of course, stereotype things. But at the same time, we are not like that. So not all of us, at least, maybe many, but not just all of us.
Is it possible to concur that the majority of these ideas derive maybe from Hollywood versions of things such as Southern Italians, you know, the movie Godfather, where it's basically a mafioso stereotypes that comes from that? How do you think that impacts Southern Italians?
Yeah, I think it puts us in a bad light, because it kinds of messed up of what we are in general as people, as a region, or in general as a south part of our nation. And I don't personally watch those kind of films because I think they are too stereotyped and they present a version of the reality which is not like that, of course. We are not like that. So I would prefer watching maybe other films about mafia, which are more real. As wait, I have to remember many titles. I've listed them. One is I Cento Passi. Another one is Padre Nostro, or you can find even. Oh, I don't remember the titles, but there are many good ones. So I think people should watch those instead of watching The Godfather, etc. And with watching that, they really understand the situation.
And in your experience, since Hollywood or maybe the media tend to portray Italians as mafiosi or things like that, do you think there are aspects of the mafia that the media does not talk about, such as the effects that the mafia has on Italian population, not the stereotyped version, but the real version?
Mm, okay, so I had the conversation once with a relative of one victim, of one mafia victim, and he used to tell us that mafia basically is where we don't see it. So, as for example, in Catania, there are many places who sell horse meat, and many of those horses are from abusive, abusive. Wait, I remember word gare.
Oh, abusive races.
Abusive racers. So mafia is where you don't see it, especially now, because before many years ago, when my parents were born, it was more, mafia used to kill people, and everyone used to know about it. Now it's not like that. Mafia works in the field of drugs, in the field, for example, of horse meat and other many fields. So it's where we don't see it.
Yeah, I read recently, because I'm Italian as well, that there have been a lot of buildings that have been falling or breaking because the infrastructure is so weak. And that has to do with the corruption in Italy. But I think in more southern countries, that also has to do with mafia, who takes on those jobs that are not for those people. And they just spend less money and make weaker infrastructures. So though though it doesn't kill directly, maybe with like the shootings or stuff like that, in the long run it does kill.
And I totally agree with you.
And these aspects are not at all talked about in mainstream media. They talk about the stereotyped version of mafia and the romanticized version of mafia, such as in The Godfather, but the real issues and realities that people face when living with mafia are not at all represented. So to go back to some of the other stereotypes, do you think that the stereotype of Southern Italian laziness is distorted, or does it correspond to the truth?
I'd say that for 10% it corresponds to the truth, because as in every country, I think that in every country there is someone, of course, who doesn't want to do nothing. They just want to live on their parents' expenses, etc., etc. But I can say that for the other 90%, as for my parents or the parents of the people that I know, of my friends, of my classmates, we really work hard. They really, really work hard. They put their effort in what they do. So I think we work hard and we really try to make things better for our community, for our social environment. Of course, there are people that don't want to do anything, but it's up to them, and we don't really correspond to that reality.
Yeah, and I think a reason why a lot of people stereotype Southern Italians as lazy is because there's a high tax of disoccupation in Southern Italy. But what are other reasons that cause that disoccupation that aren't laziness? There's a lot of other factors.
Yeah, because there are no opportunities. That's why me or other people that I know wants to go elsewhere. We want to study, for example, I want to study in Rome or maybe in the UK. We don't want to stay here because there are no opportunities for us. So that's why people, for example, societies in general, organizations don't really invest in Sicily or maybe in another southern part as Campania or as Puglia, which are beautiful places. I love them. But at the same time, they don't invest here. They invest more in the northern part of Italy. So that's why there is this occupation.
Yeah, so the fact of laziness can be traced back to those. So when people look at Southern laziness, not only in Italy, but around the world, obviously there's that 10% that doesn't want to do anything, and that's okay, that's universal, that's everywhere. But the rest of the people, they're not lazy. It's just sometimes there's no opportunities. And again, with the mafia, there's dangers where people fall into that circuit because they need to make money, and the only way they can make money is in that realm. And it's just it's a loop, and it's hard to escape it. So what are some of the significant fights against mafia that have been going on in recent years that maybe you've participated in or heard of or seen?
Yeah, as a scout, I'm part of it, of many of them, sorry. But one of the most important ones is Libera, which is a community that each year tries to remember victims, mafia victims, and we remember those names. We watch film about it. They are really passionate about what they're doing because many of them are victim relatives. So they speak about their relatives, maybe their father, their I don't know, aunt, etc., etc. So you really understand what mafia made on their lives and how it impact their lives, their generation, etc. And it's not just Libera. You can find even Addio Pizzo, which is an amazing organization of people, because I have to make a little, I have to say a little thing before. Sometime Mafia goes to shops or groceries, whatever, and they ask for pizza. Pizza is an amount of money that they ask for as mafiosi, because they intimidate people to make them give money to them. And many of them, shop assistants, shop owners, etc., they opposed themselves to this action. They didn't want to pay pizza. They don't want to pay pizza. So they are part of an association called Addio Pizza, and they have sticker outside the restaurants, shops, etc. So you can really understand when someone is opposed to pizza, and in contrast to this mafia's thought, way of thinking.
Have there been consequences from these oppositions? So you're saying people are putting stickers outside of their stores. Have there been acts of violence against their?
Yeah, of course, it's a criminal organization, so they really get angry when shop owners make those things. But still, they, use the law of the strongest, and I think this is the most disgusting thing of mafia at all. And so yes, sometimes it happens that they mess up with some shop owners. They even recur to violence, but still I don't even know right now of any attempt of insult. So
when you speak of law of the strongest, what's that specific?
They impose themselves on shop owners, thinking that, of course, as a criminal organization, they own the power. They own the power of making people say yes, because people, of course, are scared, are terrified of them. So that's the rule of the strongest. They use this impact that they have on people, on the fear of people, to make them pay pizza and respond to their questions in general.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So what is a way that internationally we could help contribute to speaking more about the problem of mafia, but also going against the stereotype of Southern Italian laziness or Italian laziness? And yeah, what do you think are some strategies that we could implement abroad?
Okay, so I'm going simple. I think that just by informing yourself, you can do that, because, as I said before, you can watch many films. Maybe after this conversation, I can make you a list, because now I remember some titles, but there are so many. You can really inform yourself about what was going on many years ago and still today, the reality of the facts. So just inform yourselves and try to understand now for prejudices that we are all the same. And of course, as Sicilian, we are not all mafiosi. We are not all part of that community, that kind of mentality. We try to fight the mafia stereotype. We try to fight mafia in general. So please stick with us, help us in this fight, and inform yourself, because it's an important thing, a fundamental thing, I think.
Yeah,
Just
especially with people that are trying to fight mafia to be then called mafiosi by other Italians or by people abroad. It's not detrimental in itself, but when it's a repeated thing and it's a repeated topic that you hear, it's just you say I'm Italian and they say mafia and you're like,
exactly.
no.
It happened to me a lot of times when I was abroad, because I travel a lot. I don't remember when, but I remember this scene. I was talking with this guy, and I told him, "Oh yeah, I'm Italian," and he told me, "Oh yeah, you're mafiosa." No,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. Not at all.
I'm
fighting against mafia.
In the same way, you wouldn't walk up to a German person and say, hi, Nazi. You don't walk up to an Italian person and say, hi, mafia. Especially because a lot of people have died at the hands of mafia, and it's not an old fight, it's one that's still ongoing. So
yeah, and it's kind of disrespectful because we are not part of it. So
yeah, I agree with Francesca. I think that education is definitely key, and speaking up about it. And maybe if you hear one of your friends say that, you can be like, I get it, it's a joke, but at the same time, study more about it and learn more about what mafia is and the effects that it actually has on Italian communities. Yeah, and one final thought is, as an Italian youth, what would you like to see happen in the next few years regarding both the stereotype of Italian laziness or Southern Italian laziness and the fight against organized crime?
basically, about stereotype, I think that I just want them to stop. I know that they'll never stop, but it hurts us. We are really hurted about this thing because maybe sometime even people from the north part don't want to talk with us, maybe not just talk with us, but they talk with us and they tell us that we are lazy, that we are mafiosi, that they don't want to do anything with us. And just why? We are part of the same nation, and we still hear those things. They hurt us. And for the mafia phenomena, I think that just with justice, we're gonna try at least to end up these things. It's gonna be difficult a lot because it's rooted in our society. So it would be difficult, so difficult to, you know, eliminate at all this system. But still, we have to try. We have to support justice, and we really have to be uh, on the side of justice. Help the police as contributors, because here in Sicily, when things happen, no one says anything, no one knows anything. We like just the monkeys, you know, the little monkeys with the hand like this, and we pretend that we don't know nothing, but it's not like that. We know things, we know that things happen, and we have to fight against these crimes. We have to fight on the side of police and justice, because otherwise it won't end up. And we are the secondary victims, because of course maybe we are not the physical ones, but in a sociological context we are victims, because we are seen like this worldwide. So we have to stop that. It's our it's my aim in general, and I think it should be everyone's.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us for this conversation. I think that it's a really important topic, and I like to speak about, my home country for a bit, and, you know, problems that I think everyone should know. It's happened to me too, that it's just been like, oh, Italy mafia, and it's kind of like, not really. If you got to read about it a little bit before saying stuff like that, and it's an important topic, and I'm really glad you could come here and talk with me about it.
And I'll forever be grateful for this interview. So thank you so much.
Thank you.